James Arden, Republic of Texas. I reserve my right to yield my remaining time to Armstrong from Texas.
That is right.
I just have a few rhetorical questions I'd like to ask. How many of you have read the nutritional labels on the food in your pantry? How many of y'all...
I'm sorry, delegate, you are out of order. You cannot use the audience as a prop.
Representing the family of Alabama, I would like to reserve my right to yield my remaining time to Delegate Allen from Washington, D.C.
That is your right.
Thank you. First off, I would like to commend this author on such a great proposal and such a great idea, and a very informative idea. It provides genetic modification that any products that these manufacturers produce have, and what stage they're in, and I feel that that's something that many people in the United States would want to know. It also shows where it was manufactured, so if I were to want to know where something was manufactured, I have no idea how I'd find that out. And I feel that this was an easy and convenient way for the people of the United States to figure this out. Environmental impact, this shows on an easy number, 1 to 10, how much of a positive or negative impact it has in the United States. That's something I care about. I care about my environment, and I would like to be informed. And I don't know how in the world I would figure that out on my own. And this is something that we can do. It doesn't place a very hard burden on the manufacturers, and with that, I yield my time to Delegate Allen.
You have 1 minute.
Delegate Allen, District of Columbia. I'd just like to say, currently capitalism through food they sell is hurting the consumer through the fact that consumers die younger, excuse me. And so I think this proposal would be a deterrent and force corporations to take responsibility because of this. The consumer needs to know what they're eating. And the fact is, currently right now they don't. And because of the fact that 60% of Americans are obese or overweight. And 35% of that, which is the majority, are obese. So that means they're going to die younger, they're going to die of cancer, and all these other possibilities, and die, basically. And so also you have to think of the economic positives of this proposal. The fact that is that because if this proposal happens, then more consumers will be aware of what they're eating, and they can be healthier. And so with that,
your time has elapsed.
Yeah, from the family of Alabama, may I reserve the right to yield the rest of my time to Armstrong from Armstrong. Where are you from? Thank you, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, the organization of information on every food item may be extremely beneficial to the choices that consumers make. But if you wanted to find out all the information on the chips that Walmart sold, isn't it simply easier to go on the internet, go on Walmart.com, click on the nutrition information on their chips, rather than go to this government website, then click on food programs and go through these enormous sorts of organizations that would take you, and it would just simply waste your time and waste your effort. Also, on line 42, when the author says that we would enjoy the benefits of a quasi-free market system, might I remind you, in a quasi-free market system, the government is partially controlling the economy, and when the economy is in a recession, they are trying to they're trying to get stimulus packages to stimulate the economy. That, as we have found out, does not work. I do not support this proposal because I think it is redundant and it is ridiculous. I give the rest of my time to Armstrong.
You have 40 seconds.
Phil Armstrong, Republic of Texas. I'd first like to commend the author on a very well-written proposal. However, I'd like to refer to your previous delegate's response to an added redundancy. We already have the FDA in place, and to add another committee to regulate what the FDA is already regulating, aside from the environmental number, is very redundant and a waste of federal funding. Furthermore, I'd like to elaborate on how to exactly get this environmental number. Lines 37 and 38 says it would maintain, it would define how it transports it and manufactures it. In order to do that, a company would most likely have to have vertical integration to know how everything happened from the ground up. Otherwise, the committee itself...
Thank you, Delegate. Time has elapsed. I would like to reserve my right to the rest of my time to Delegate Taylor. That is your right. Thank you, Madam Chair. Consumers have a right to know what they're buying and to know what they're reinforcing. For example, if a product is made due to child labor, I would like to know if I'm reinforcing that. There's a fellow delegate who does not eat processed meat because they have horrible standards of killing their animals. And I'm sure that delegate would like to know what he is reiterating and buyer beware does not apply when a product is not clearly marked, because it's like having a no sign in a parking lot saying that they're not responsible. Does that make sense? I'd like to yield the rest of my time to Taylor. You have 1 minute, 10 seconds.
Delegate Taylor, Connecticut. First, I'd like to address the delegation, address the assembly on misconceptions that were said. First off, a lot of mention has been about the number system. If you read the proposal correctly, it says, and a number system will be implemented. This does not mean there will only be a number system. On line 34, it says compulsory labels on all food items. This does not mean you'll have to go to the internet to see the label. The label will be directly on the product. I'd like to also point out give your attention to the fact that the European Union requires all GMOs to be labeled on food. If anything, this will help businesses. Not only will we be able to sell similar and uniform products to Europe and the United States, it will be cheaper to produce since they will be the same. And with that, I would like to yield the remaining of my time to the chair.
Haley Perry, representing the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I reserve my right to yield the time to Delegate Sabanji from Minnesota, please.
That is your right.
Thank you. Although I applaud the intention of this proposal, it is infeasible for multiple reasons. First, the amount of information required to be put on this proposal to be listed on the back is not only too much to fit on most products, it would actually cost more money for the companies. It would actually do about $1.8 million per manual project. Also, when you look into the consumers that it's applied, the intent is for this to be big corporations. However, the way it is written, this would apply to all companies. And not many companies can afford to do this and look into the history. Also, this will make companies liable for the information which they might not possess for things that have been transferred through 5, 10, 15 people before it makes it to them. Although this has an incredible intention, the actual logistics make this proposal impossible. I'd like to yield the remainder of my time to the delegate behind me.
You have 55 seconds.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sabanji Mirza. I am against this proposal because it makes it seem like we can't find out what's in our food. We can find out what's in our food. It's easy. Just type it in the computer, look it up. Information is everywhere. It is already, FDA is already regulated by the FDA that all the ingredients and all the information have to be on the food. If you can't take the time already to look at what's on there, I really don't see why we should implement this proposal. I mean, just last year, the documentary Food Inc. came out, and it was heavily publicized by the Chipotle Corporation. And I went to see that, and a bunch of people I know went to see that because they want to learn what is in their food. If people don't want to learn...
Thank you, Delegate. Time has elapsed.